Good afternoon, I'm Belle Gregorio and this is One News Now. Here are the stories out of the ongoing APEC Summit in San Francisco. The Philippines has signed the 123 agreement on nuclear energy cooperation with the United States. President Bongbong Marcos is also set to hold a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping to clarify the government's position on the sea dispute. Here's the report of Maricel Halili.
After personally meeting with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, President Bongbong Marcos will be sitting down with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the 30th APEC Summit in San Francisco. Marcos Jr. says the Philippines aims to secure peace in the disputed waters following China's harassment of Philippine vessels during the last resupply missions in the Ayungin Shoal.
And now that's what I see the mission of the Philippines, the Philippine Coast Guard, the Philippine military, our fishermen, all of us. Is our basic fundamental mission here is to maintain the peace.
President Marcos says he will discuss with Xi the matter of easing tensions in the disputed waters. Marcos Jr. also seeks to clarify the Philippines' position in the West Philippine Sea.
Again, we will get the view of the Chinese president on what we can do to bring down the temperature, to not escalate the situation in the West Philippine Sea. And we will put all of these together so as we'll be able to strategize for the near future on what the Philippines' role will be, or what is the proper Philippines role in the West Philippine Sea.
Xi earlier met with U.S. President Joe Biden, where the two leaders agreed to resume high-level military communications. However, when asked by reporters at the end of the news conference, Biden said he had not changed his view in Xi's leadership.
And Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is the guy who runs a country that is a communist country that is based on a form of government totally different than ours.
Prior to Marcos Jr.'s scheduled meeting with Xi, he sat with U.S. Vice President Harris in a pull-aside meeting, where they also focused on the West Philippine Sea.
He was very interested to know what our assessment was on the situation in the West Philippine Sea. And I just went through the narrative of what had happened in the past few months. And we tried to discuss some of the ways forward.
Marcos Jr. has witnessed the signing of the 123 agreement between the Philippines and the U.S. earlier today. The deal will serve as a legal basis for the U.S. to export nuclear equipment and materials to Manila to help attract investors in the energy sector. For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
On to the weather now. Pag-asa says the low-pressure area off of Mindanao may enter the Philippine monitoring zone today. The LPA was last spotted some 990 kilometers east of northeastern Mindanao. The weather disturbance is not likely to re-intensify into a tropical depression. Meanwhile, some parts of the country will experience rain today due to the shear line and the trough of an outside LPA. Affected areas include the Bicol region, northern Samar, eastern Samar, Caraga, Davao de Oro, Davao Oriental, Palawan, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. The northeast monsoon or amihan may also trigger rains over Luzon, including Batanes, Cagayan, and Metro Manila. Time to take a quick break. One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Bel Gregorio. Family dispute is emerging as a possible motive in the gruesome shooting of a couple inside a bus in Nueva Ecija. The son of one of the two victims may just be considered as a person of interest in the case. Mon Gualvez with the story.
This man and woman were seated at the front seats of this bus traversing Caranglan, Nueva Ecija. The two were asleep when these two men walked down the aisle and told the driver that they are getting off the bus. But as they were beside the two passengers in front, the suspects drew out their gun and shot them dead. The crime is too brutal that our team decided not to show the actual shooting in full. The two victims died on the spot. The suspect shouted at the driver to open the doors.
Buksan mo! Buksan mo! Buksan mo! Buksan mo na! Ang tagal mo? Ayaw mo buksan? Buksan mo! Buksan mo!
Once the suspects got out of the bus, the driver sped off to report the incident. Inside, the other passengers can be heard crying. According to authorities, the victims are in a relationship but both already have respective families. They took the bus from Kawayan Isabela, headed for Tarlac. 3 hours into the trip, the suspects got on board in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya. Another 2 hours passed before the shooting that eventually took place in Caranglan, Nueva Ecija. Witnesses said that once the gunmen got off the bus, they immediately headed to a nearby river and disappeared into the mountains. Authorities are now looking into why the victims chose to commute to Tarlac for a supposed jewelry deal when they both own private vehicles. Police said the two may be trying to avoid someone.
Well executed yung pagkagagawa nila, sinabayan nila sa sasakyan at saka bumaba sila doon sa lugar kung saan hindi sila madetect ng mga kapulisan. Lalong-lalo na doon sa sinasabi natin na parting may ilog.
The Nueva Ecija police continues its backtracking and profiling of the suspects. Authorities are also looking at the personal motive, and one of the possible persons of interest in the case is the woman victim's own child. A document obtained by News 5 showed that the victim filed cases against her own child for robbery and kidnapping. Her child was arrested but eventually released on bail. Her sister confirmed that their mother had also been receiving death threats. Another relative of the woman victim confirmed this conflict.
Simula nung galing na ng Canada, parang hindi na yata sila okay yung anak niya. Hindi sila nag-uusap, di ba? Ang pamilya kailangan nandun yung bonding, di ba? Hindi ko na nakikita yun.
The police continues its manhunt for the two gunmen. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
We now give you a quick look at today's other top stories. Israeli forces claim they have found a Hamas tunnel shaft and a vehicle with weapons inside Gaza's biggest hospital. Military equipment, including rifles and rocket-propelled grenades, were also supposedly discovered in the Al-Shifa hospital. Tel Aviv alleged that the militant group had been using tunnels located in the medical facility as its command headquarters. The troop had likewise recovered the body of an Israeli woman, one of the 240 hostages taken by Hamas gunmen. Hamas had earlier said some of its captives were killed by Israel's airstrikes. Back here at home, the 8th batch of Filipino repatriates from Israel is expected to arrive in the country this afternoon. The returnees include 8 hotel workers, 24 caregivers, and 1 baby. In total, over 150 Filipinos have already been repatriated from Israel. Transport Group Piston will hold a 3-day transport strike starting Monday, November 20. However, the LTFRB is not recommending classes to be suspended during the Tigil Pasada. Authorities are not expecting the mass action to paralyze the transport system. On a lighter note, Philippine bet Michelle D makes it to the top 10 of the Miss Universe Voice for Change video competition.
10 silver finalists. Ready? Philippines.
This tilt aims to highlight the advocacies of the global pageant's candidates. Michelle's video focused on raising awareness for autism. She joined silver finalists Mrs. Angola, Brazil, Chile, Lebanon, Puerto Rico, Singapore, South Africa, Ukraine, and Zimbabwe. The 3 gold winners will be announced during the coronation ceremony on Sunday morning, Philippine time. Michelle also stunned in the preliminary competition where she worked her parasela in a red-hot swimsuit. In the evening gown competition, Miss Philippines strutted the stage in a regal green gown by Mark Baumgartner. Miss Universe Michelle Lee carries over a solid introduction last night with an exemplary national costume. She donned a plane-like outfit designed by Michael Barasi. It's meant to promote local tourism and is an ode to her being an Air Force reservist. The outfit bore a solahia pattern and featured the colors of the Philippine flag. It also has a mural of several tourist destinations and the current tourism slogan, Love the Philippines. Dee wore a captain's cap. The beauty queen said this is a representation of the Philippines, resilient, radiant, ready to embrace the universe. One News Now will be back at 3:15 p.m. Join us again later. I'm Bel Gregorio. We are One News.